I'm Carlo and I'm from Sydney, Australia. It took me 25 years to come out to my best friend, to my family, and a large part of that delay is because of my Catholic faith, my Catholic upbringing. Growing up, there was definitely this image of the perfect family, the Holy Family, with a father, a mother, and a child. So for me, growing up, that's what I aspired to have in the future. Just before my 26th birthday, I had this urge to come out to my parents. So I had told my best friend, I had started telling friends and colleagues about my sexuality and my truth. But I knew that I hadn't really come out yet until I told my parents. So I drove up from Canberra to Sydney, and it was a Saturday afternoon. They were just about to go to Mass, to the Catholic Church down the road. And they invited me to come along with them. And I knew that, I was like, this isn't the ideal situation to tell them we're going to a Catholic Mass or a Catholic service, but I just need to tell them, otherwise I won't tell them this weekend. So Dad was driving, Mum was in the passenger seat, I was in the back seat, and in the best Tagalog that I knew, I said to them, Mum, Dad, I'm attracted to men. And there was a bit of silence for a moment, but Dad was the first person to chime up and say, Carlo, as long as you're happy, we're happy. And Mum soon thereafter said, you can't change who you are, this is you, and we want you to be you. So I was actually surprised that they didn't have any more questions, and because it was a very short car trip to the church, we actually got out of the car and we went to Mass. The following evening, there was a power outage in Sydney, and we were sitting in the lounge room, candles, around the room just to give some light. And I said to Mum and Dad, thank you for being so accepting and so open about my truth. I really appreciate that. But I want to make sure that you understand what it means, what I've told you. And yes, I know that the Catholic Church says that you can be gay, but you have to be celibate. What I want to explain to you is that, yes, I'm gay, and I want to continue practicing my Catholic faith, but I don't necessarily just want to be celibate. I want to have a partner. I want to have a family. And I think that was a little more difficult for them to understand. I think they needed to, rack their brains behind it. But I think for me, it was important for me to explain that to them. 2 weeks later, I was back in Sydney, and I was actually making some cake decorations with my aunt and my mom and some other relatives. And my auntie jokingly said, oh, maybe you could make some of these pink roses, icing, cake decoration roses for your girlfriend. And I said, well, that will never happen because I'm actually gay. And my auntie was she was silent. And then she started crying. She started sobbing. I actually had to invite her into their living room. I sat her down, we sat on the couch, and she was still crying, just could not stop crying. And then after about, 3 or 4 minutes, she started calming down, stopped crying, and I asked her, are you okay? Or what's wrong? Why are you so emotional? And she said to me, Carlo, I just have to grieve the loss of this image that I built up for you, of having a wife and having children. I said to her, I get that, but I want to make sure that you understand, I still want that. I still want to have a family, but it's just going to look different. It's going to be with a man as opposed to a woman. And she said, okay, I understand that. And I'm actually very grateful that you've told me this, because now we can have a more open, a deeper relationship, because there's no longer this facade. So what I've learned is that I can be gay and I can be Catholic, and the two can actually build on each other and strengthen both parts of my identity. My relationship with God is between, just the two of us. It shouldn't be informed by what the Catholic Church is saying or even what my parents are saying. You know, that relationship that I have with God is a very personal, a very nuanced relationship. And it doesn't have to follow any rules or any teachings. It can just be, you know, what I want it to be.